The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
I'm Cam with Progressive Victory. I'm a political organizer, but I was not that a couple years ago. I actually was just a random Voshite, just a Vosh viewer, and got involved volunteering with Progressive Victory, and now this is what I do. I've changed career paths, and I'm organizing with them full time. It's a really great stream-focused org, getting young people involved, speaking our language. It's great. We have created a new game called Streamocracy.
Your real-world advocacy, rewarded online. From Progressive Victory, introducing Quick Save Democracy. Enter the Quick Save Democracy Hub, a place where volunteers can be rewarded for their volunteer work. Select your team and complete action quests like checking your voter registration or signing up for a phone bank. Claim rewards to compete with other PV members. The more victory points you earn, the higher your score. The points you earn also increase your team score. Prove your favorite content creator is the best in Streamocracy. Use all the victory points you've earned to win electoral college votes for your team. Just select a district and choose how many votes you want to buy. The creator with the most states on election day wins. Streamocracy is available to play right now on Quick Save Democracy.
We have gamified democracy, and you can get involved and win the map for Vosh. It's just progress.win/hub, HUB.
This is now like an honor thing. You have to perform well or you'll be shaming me as a live streamer, which will of course be sort of met out with consequences to all of you. Please do sign up with PV, okay? It's real important. I signed up already? Good. Even if you don't think you'll be able to canvass, sign up, okay? Can do some damn good work there. I've got bad news for you. I'm afraid that Kamala Harris is actually worse than Biden in every measurable way. Jury's up on the Gaza issue. She hasn't delivered anything quite this based yet. Hit it, Joe.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. You know, he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've.
Imagine if he was the nominee for the past 3 months. He'd probably be dead. I'm staying in the race. Quickly replace Kamala Harris with Joe Biden. No, yeah. So he called half of the one half of the political base garbage, which Donald Trump can do, but Joe Biden can't do because of rules. Anyway, he probably misspoke. My guess is that what he meant to say was like the only garbage I see out there are the opinions or like these claims or whatever. It doesn't really matter whether or not he misspoke, obviously. It's not like it's not like there are any arguments you're going to win where a Republican is going to be like, he called us garbage, and you're going to be like, no, he misspoke actually. And then you're both going to arrive at an agreement. They're going to vote for Kamala Harris. Who cares? He essentially said they're garbage, which is a correct statement. So who even cares, right? Kamala Harris, because she's a huge pussy, disavowed.
Type of leader I intend to be.
President Biden just his comment last night about garbage.
Listen, I think that first of all he clarified his comments, but let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not. That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Thanks, Kamala. That's great. Yeah, I don't really want to engage on this that much. This is, look, the idea that Republican voters are garbage is a position held by basically every liberal in this country anyway. Like, if you talk to the average Kamala Harris supporter and you say, dude, Trump voters, right? They're not going to be like, I don't know, I feel like we can all work together. Have you talked to a liberal? Yeah, they call them monsters. It's not the political partisanship, the polarization is not exclusively experienced by Republicans. Democrats also talk like this between each other. It's just Democrat politicians don't. Republican politicians will. Republican voters will. Democrat voters will. Democrat politicians don't. Democrat politicians are be like, no, 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 hold on. Hold on. I just like, can you imagine how much better it would have been if she had triggered another right-wing meltdown by saying something along the lines of like, Donald Trump just called America a garbage bin literally at the last rally. I don't know. Like, what is he going to walk back that statement, or is he going to admit that this country has no garbage in it? Or like, there are like a million ways you could spin this to give them a little jab. I didn't like Joe Biden's off the cuff remarks while defending Puerto Ricans offend Republicans. I didn't realize they were so sensitive to remarks like that. Like, there are so many things they could go with. Democrats delusionally believe that there are people who are voting based on like who the most bipartisan candidate is going to be, and I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. We're in such a polarized environment. I don't know why they're running on the anti-polarization ticket when everyone is polarized. You know, it's not a good time for that. I said a second ago, I said in the last segment, or whatever passed for a segment in this like blighted newscape, that it seems like the rhetoric is a lot more tired and a lot more fatigued from the right about stopping the steal now than it was back in 2020, and a lot of that is because they don't give as much of a shit because it's like old hat news. I want to show you what Charlie Kirk said in response to, because like obviously right now, because the right wing has like nothing, they are screaming from the rooftops about how like Joe Biden is super, super evil for this incredibly evil thing that he said, that like, you know, Donald Trump would never. Donald Trump represents all Americans, and Joe Biden is the one who, look at what Charlie Kirk said. And I think this is so indicative of their mind state and how little they care. Joe Biden is using dehumanizing language towards 80 million Americans, calling Trump supporters garbage. This is how the worst atrocities of the 20th century begin again in 2024. They think you are garbage, therefore worthy of elimination. And you know, like, you get statements like this from neo-Nazis pretty often, where they're like grinning. They're like, they think they're really clever because they operate in their own circles, and they're like, like while imagining gassing Jews, they're typing like, when the Jewish community of Weimar Republic called us fascists and anti-Semites, that's how dehumanizing language leads to genocide. You know, like they know it's projection. They think it's hilarious. Yeah. They think they're doing like an epic own, basically. It's the same tactic children use when arguing. You know what I mean? Where like a parent will call their 6-year-old son uncooperative because they won't put their shoes on before school. And then the kid is like, can we get McDonald's before we go to school? And the mom is like, no, we can't. We have to go to school. And the kid's like, oh, now who's being uncooperative? You said we had to get along in order to make the beginning of the day smooth. And now you're saying I can't get what I want. You got what you wanted, but I don't get what I want. And they have like a smug little grin, you know? It's literally like, I remember how I argued back when I was like 10, you know? Vasha speaking from experience. Yes! Well, I'm not a McDonald's guy, so it wasn't with McDonald's, but I understand absolutely the like, I understand that I'm in the wrong, so I'm going to be a smug piece of shit and try to like turn it back on them, but while knowing that I'm deliberately being disingenuous. Yeah, I mean, I stopped doing that at like 10, but I recognize the tactic. God, you must have been insufferable. Isn't that obvious? From watching me now? Isn't that like really clear? Yeah, used to be insufferable. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at is that when Charlie Kirk typed that tweet, he was grinning when he did it. He knows that he and his crowd are Nazis, or at the very least fascists. He's doing this because he thinks it's hilarious for him, a Nazi, to say like, oh, they called us bad. This is how the Holocaust happens. It's hilarious to him. But that rhetoric also isn't very effective. Look at the tweet. 5.5 thousand comments, 26K likes. On Elon's Twitter, that ain't platinum. That's not even bronze. It's not that effective because even though the Republican Party is made up pretty much exclusively of grifters and psychopaths, you still have to try. You understand? Like, even though everything is teed up for them, they still have to try. If the rhetoric gets oversaturated or it becomes so flagrantly dishonest that they feel stupid saying it, they don't do as good of a job. If they don't try at all, their rhetoric suffers. I'm just using Charlie Kirk as like an example here. Basically, every right-wing pundit is doing exactly what he is doing right now. That's why the Walls misinfo didn't work. That's a great example. Remember how a little while ago, some Nazis made a deepfake of a student of Tim Walz, where it was like a deepfake video of him saying he was sexually molested by Walz, and it was completely fake. The audio wasn't him, the video wasn't him. They just animated a still image of an adult version of the student that Walz had. Or yeah, saying like horse cum Walz or whatever. None of these stuck to him at all because they were concocted by the most jeering, obviously dishonest lunatics. And for that reason, it didn't take off. Like, they're so evil and so locked in their own bubble. They're so like contained to their own space where they forget what it's like to interact with normal people. They're not good at selling that position. Does that make sense? You see this really often when you see how Nazis interact with like normies on Twitter, where a relatively normie person will say something like, you know, I like multiculturalism because I think that, you know, it's great when we all have taco trucks that we can eat from because they're yummy and delicious. And then somebody with a Pepe profile pic will respond with something like, you know, hey, like noticer logged on, what kinds of people do you think got those taco trucks there? Hint, honk, honk. And then the normal person will be like, what the f are you talking about? And the Pepe avatar will say like, I'm noticing which group of people, which from the, and the normal person will be like, what are you talking about? I'm noticing. Are you okay? They don't know how to talk to normal people because they're locked in their own social bubbles. Am I a normie? You're confusing me? I mean, maybe that's kind of the bit, but I'm not even exaggerating how they talk that much. This is why right-wing pundits inevitably devolve. Ben Shapiro is effectively a rusty, blunted version of Ben Shapiro from years ago because the audience he deals with doesn't demand anything or challenge him. The only, like, challenges that Ben Shapiro gets are from Nazis who attack him for being a Jew. That's literally it. He doesn't get any pushback from, like, in a way that would develop him as a rhetorician. And neither does Charlie Kirk. Though Nazis don't bug Charlie Kirk anymore because ever since the Nick Fuentes, Charlie Kirk, America First versus I'm blanking on what his organization is called. What's Charlie Kirk's org? I'm blanking. TPUSA. Ever since the Groyper War, yeah, Charlie Kirk just adopted the positions of Nick Fuentes, but more effectively. Anyway, yeah, like it's all this. For those of you keeping score at home, Joe Biden countered by calling 80 million Americans garbage. Which will the media cover more? Garbage. President Trump reacts to hearing the news Biden just called Trump supporters garbage. Some random staffer tried to cover for Biden as he calls you garbage. Oh, joining the greats, Anna Kasparian. So the president calling tens of millions of Americans garbage is supposed to demonstrate character? I wonder how much she got paid. Rent in LA is expensive, folks. Bet it took her at least 5 figures to sell out her soul, her personality, her entire career, the respect of everyone who's ever associated with her just for like big retweets and a Substack with 10 subscribers. Oh, Charlie Kirk with a correct opinion. Did you see this shit? Insane. Dodgers was a person on the team was catching a ball right at the edge of the arena, and this dipshit Yankees fan literally grabbed his arm to try to take the ball out of his glove. Insane. Permaban? Oh, that gets you worse than a permaban. That guy is lucky to have survived. I mean, I know that Dodgers were the away team there, so the stadium wasn't full of Dodgers fans. But if they were, that guy, they would have had to drag that guy. They would have had to bring that guy out in a soup tin. They would have had to scrape him off the damn concrete. Whining about garbage, whining about the garbage comment, whining about the garbage comment, whining about the garbage comment, whining about the garbage. Actually, hold on. Let me see how many we can get just from Charlie Kirk's feed, just for the sake of, like, I don't know. Is this the first one? Oh, here's the massive pro-Trump caravan. 250,000 likes on this. X, the everything app. 12 Puerto Ricans have parked their car on the side of a bridge. All right, let's see how many we can get. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Retweeting Anna Kasparian again when defending the idea that Donald Trump isn't a fascist. Holy shit, Anna. I hope it was 6 figures. Oh, man. Oh, and then the pin tweet. The pin tweet is also about the garbage comment. This is every right-wing grifter right now. I'm not joking. I really genuinely wish that Democrats put more effort into being more mean more often so that the right wing wouldn't be able to latch onto every errant comment. You know, it's like oversaturate them. It's the exact same thing Trump did. Trump is so racist and so abrasive so often, it's literally not possible to sustain a media environment in which you are constantly referring to him as such. Because it's like, wow, breaking news. He said something abrasive. No one cares. Everyone knows. He's oversaturated the air, the airwaves. It's why I keep going back to Kamala Harris's comment about Trump's rallies where people keep leaving early. That was a clever way of jabbing him in a way that worked. It made him upset. He keeps talking about it. And it was structured in such a way that it's like you can't like pearl clutch about it that much. You get what I mean. Yeah, only he cares. Lol Kirk said, you're not irredeemable, admitting they can still come back from what? Republicans understand, like a lot of them, certainly the pundits, they know they're bad people. Or not necessarily they know they're bad people. They have narratives for why what they do is justifiable, but they're fully aware of the fact, like on a personal level, that they are like, I wouldn't say evil because people don't generally think they're evil. They are aware of the fact that they're compromised morally. I'd say that much. They're aware of that. Like a grifter can believe some complicated narrative about how what they're doing is right in the long run, but they're still aware of the fact that they're lying for money. They also do that ironic / not ironic shit where they will own up to the deplorable stuff or laugh about how they're all domestic terrorists. Well, yeah, because like you can't be anti-bad thing in the Republican Party. If you're anti-bad thing, that's your entire voter base, you know? I remember the RNC. We are all domestic terrorists. Jesus Christ. I feel like they're just trying to distract from the Puerto Rico joke. Yeah, of course. That's what they're trying to do. The only point that I'm making is that like when you're, just imagine it like you have a person in your social circle who is not your friend, but they're in your social circle. And literally no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you, like how good or how bad you are to them, they despise you and they lie about you all the time. What incentive is there for you to ever be charitable to this person? If you're charitable to them, they'll lie about you, they'll call you a pedophile, they'll lie about every one of your policies, and they'll spread it on their mainstream news network. They're like from top to bottom. What is the incentive? Exactly. What do you get? I still think there's benefit to like good optics, but good optics and civility are not the same thing, you know? I think if anything, you're hurting yourself because I think it would be much more effective to be decisively mean to Donald Trump when given the opportunity and then just make fun of him for it. Prompt him into a meltdown. I really do think that you could get Donald Trump to like say the N-word if you probed him just a little bit. Genuinely. Like, I think you could. I know he doesn't want to do another debate, but I really feel like you could prompt him into it. I feel like you could. I really, really think you could. And Kamala Harris wouldn't even have to say that much. One of the lines that I've always thought Democrats should use and they never do, which sickens me, is like, you need to spend more time telling Republican politicians that their voters aren't that stupid. I think they could get a lot of mileage out of that one, even though it's kind of a lie. They are that stupid. More lines to the effect of like, imagine you're on a debate stage and you're like, look, every single thing you've said is provably false. You can Google it and find the right answer. Your dishonest record speaks for itself. Do you really think your voters are that stupid? How contemptible must you think? Like, how stupid do you think your base is that you think that they'll like run with this, that you'll get away with it with them, you know? I think stuff like that works pretty well optically because you're kind of challenging the voters to do better there and you're insulting the politician, not them. But I don't know. What do I know? Biden himself called Trump a liar in the aftermath of their debate. Yeah, but that's not enough. It's not enough. What's your take on how a person like Anna, who spent almost 2 decades in the trenches advocating for left-wing ideas, taking such a hard turn towards the embrace the right? Money and mental illness, trauma from a negative personal experience, a deep sense of resentment towards people who make more money than she does, doing less work, emotional fragility stemming from the inability to hold true to your positions when you get, like, when you argue with people, and then money.